Welcome to the Opinionation Podcast, where free speech, opinions, and original thought still matter in America.
Welcome back, America. We are once again going to take you on a voyage of free speech and the ability to bitch, moan, and complain about everything that pisses you off in today's world. My big complaint or rant for the day, and I'm going to start out by just laying it on the table for you, and then I'll backtrack and give you a little more insight, are mopeds and scooters on the road. I don't understand what in the hell they are thinking by allowing these dangerous things to travel on the same highways as cars. I just don't get it. Now in North Carolina, another beautiful way has been found to generate tax dollars by taxing the mopeds by telling them that they have to have a tag on their moped. So forget about the fact that the damn things are dangerous. Forget about the fact that we already, as motorists on the highway, have to contend with bicycle riders, city buses, school buses, and pedestrians. Now we have to watch out for mopeds and people on cell phones. They're trying to get a hands-free law where you can't put your hands on your cell phone while you're behind the wheel of a car, but you can still ride a 35-mile-an-hour moped down the 4-lane highway in the middle of rush hour traffic, impeding everybody's journey to and from work and everything else in between. I don't understand it. So they have found a loophole for the people with no driver's license or people who can't afford another means of transportation to be able to ride something and it be taxed. So fuck safety. It's all about tax dollars. They don't give a damn about everything on the road that we already have to look out for while we're driving our cars or riding our motorcycles or riding forms of transportation that are road legal. They have now added mopeds in the mix. So here's one of my favorites. I love to be riding down the road and for a moped to get in front of me going down the road and for there to be some shirtless shithole with his fat, insignificant other riding on the back of the damn moped. They're going about 30 miles an hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, and you get up behind them and look in your rearview mirror and realize that there's a line of 10,000 cars trying to go the same direction that you're going, but we're all bogged down because of this stupid moped rider. I don't understand what the state, could be states, I don't know what all the laws are everywhere for these stupid things, but I know in North Carolina you see them riding around with a little tag on the back that says moped, and they're riding on the roads. You know, if you can't get a driver's license or you can't afford a car, that's not worth putting the safety of myself, my family, and my grandchildren who ride in car seats in the back of my children's car in jeopardy so that these people can be on the road. And another things that they have done in Charlotte, and from what I can tell by watching the news, is that they're everywhere, is for them to have those little scooter things sitting on the sidewalk where you could go get a scooter, scan your card, and ride the scooter on the road uptown in the middle of all the work traffic, people going back and forth. Now, uptown Charlotte's not very large, but it is one of the largest banking hubs in the world. So uptown we have so many people coming to work at the various financial institutions, and then you want to throw people riding around on scooters in the midst of all this. So you have people walking back and forth across the street, jaywalking, not even looking at the crosswalks, scooters. You can't get around the buses because it's only a 2-lane through the middle of downtown, or what they like to call in Charlotte, uptown. That's another story, but it's stupid too. So now you have all this stuff to look out for, and all I want to do is get from point A to point B without all these distractions. I don't understand what the distractions are all about. But here we go. They have also figured out a way to make money off of these. So instead of sitting in the city council meeting and saying, hey, these scooters are dangerous, even though we have seen video on the news of people riding them across traffic and almost getting hit by cars, people falling off of them and getting injured and riding them with no helmets. We're going to allow them anyway because guess what? We have found out a way to generate some revenue from this shit. So we're going to put everybody's life in jeopardy who drives a car or walks up and down the sidewalk or crossing the street, because we're going to allow you to grab a scooter off the sidewalk. It was bad enough when they introduced the bicycles that you could grab and swipe your card and pay for and ride around. Those things should be reserved for parks. Scooters and bicycles should be reserved for parks, not the city streets. But as long as the city that you live in can figure out a way to make money off of it, they don't give a rat's ass about your safety. All they care about is the money. And I don't understand the concept about taking the lives of people and jeopardizing them for a couple of bucks. And I'm sure these scooters, based on the amount of people that I see in the news who are riding these dumbass things, I'm sure that the city or the state or whoever's allowing this is making quite the profit, or they wouldn't allow it to happen. So they regulate everything that we do. The government regulates every damn thing. You can barely even crack a fart without them regulating it. And all of a sudden, they are taking something this dangerous and allowing it to be ridden on the public highway. There is no telling how many accidents are caused by mopeds and scooters on the road. No tell. I mean, the numbers have got to be astronomical, but I do not hear anybody speaking about it or saying anything about it on the news media, but it has to be. There's no way possible that this is safe. And besides, not only are they unsafe, but they also jeopardize the people's ability to get back and forth to work on time because they're blocking the road. They're taking over a space that's already filled with construction, filled with buses, filled with pedestrians, and they're just clogging everything up like sticking a cork in a wine bottle, and everything just don't move because of these things. And I don't understand it. The city is wanting to build all this housing. They're wanting to do all this growth, but then they want to bog everything down with dumb shit that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, you can ride down, let's see, major highway in Charlotte is Highway 29, and I'm not even talking about the interstates. This is our major 4-lane that takes you literally to South Carolina all the way up into northern Rowan County, which is probably, I don't know the exact numbers. I'm just going to throw some out there for you. It's probably at least a 100-mile road. 4 lanes most of the way. There's a few places where it's 2 lanes, but most of the way it's 4 lanes. So you're bogging all this down. Everywhere you look are orange construction cones and barriers. There are construction equipment everywhere. You can hardly get through now because of all the shit that they're working on going through there. And now they want to give us mopeds and scooters on top of all of this. So let's take a look back at the tax dollar. They're generating revenue by putting the tags on these mopeds, and I'm sure they're getting some form of kickback for these scooters. And they're working on the highway projects, most of which appear to involve the light rail that they're putting in. But the roads themselves, which the tax dollars are supposed to be used, primarily the gas tax, are supposed to be used to fix potholes, keep the roads paved, and keep them passable. But they're doing all this construction work, but they're only making the roads worse. There's a section of Interstate 77 that there was a story on yesterday where the construction work mixed with all the rain that we have going on here has a section of the interstate flooded so much that it's unusable when it rains, all because of the construction. So you would think that in the midst of all this stuff that they're working on and building here, that they could get a couple of crews out to go around and fix the potholes, but they're not. The roads are horrible, some of which are completely impassable, and now we got mopeds and scooters. It is absolutely the dumbest idea that I have ever heard of in my entire life. I don't understand the concept. I don't understand how the people who came up with this continue to get elected, but they're still there. Nobody is saying anything about the waste of money that is taking place right here in Charlotte and probably everywhere else in the country. Nobody is complaining, or at least the right people aren't complaining, about the clusterfuck of a mess that has been created and now added on to that are going on our streets. You know, we already have a problem with traffic here. We already have a problem with people who have driver's license who really can't drive for shit. The roads are dangerous. My wife, when she drives to work in the mornings, complains constantly about her commute. Not because of the length of her commute. She only works 15 miles from here. But it takes her almost an hour to get there because of all the shit. So literally that is the equivalent of her driving 15 miles an hour in what is mostly considered to be a 45 to 55 mile per hour road. She is slowed down to the point of taking an hour to drive 15 miles. We live out in the country, and I can kind of understand the concept of how things work in the country, because you have people who drive their tractors and they're going from field to field mowing and doing whatever it is that they do out here. So there's a little bit of a leeway there when it comes to the tractors and the school buses and the various things that you encounter in the country. But the city roads and highways should not be congested. So let's take a look at what goes on from the commute from my house to her work. She has approximately 7 to 8 miles of country that she has to go through. Understandable. End of our road is a stop sign. End of the next road is a stop sign. End of the next road is a stop light. 3 stops. Little difficulty crossing one road because of the traffic for a high school that's down there. But other than that, it's about 8 miles till she gets into the city portion of a smaller town right before you get into Charlotte. So she makes her way over to 29, which is approximately another 2 to 3 miles. So she's already got almost 10 to 11 miles of her trip done fairly quickly. So then all of a sudden she hits 29. She gets bogged down by city buses. She gets bogged down by mopeds. She gets bogged down by construction. And the rest of her trip is about 40 to 45 minutes to go the last 8 to 9 miles to work. On a road that is a 4-lane that is supposed to be faster. So you have stoplights every intersection down 29. You have construction. You have mopeds. You have pedestrians. And you have horrible drivers. And nobody seems to want to do a damn thing to fix it. The roads continue to get worsened, and the building is more prominent than ever before. They are building apartment complexes all up and down Highway 29, and you already are so congested going through there now. How are you going to handle the influx of another 300 unit apartment complex going in and out from their parking area to the highway without bogging down traffic even further than it is bogged down now? So then the state of North Carolina thinks it's a wise idea to, hey, instead of outlawing mopeds, which is what the community has cried out for years, people have bitched and complained about those mopeds for years. They hate them on the road. They don't understand them on the road. So instead of outlawing them like we should do, hey, let's get them tagged so they can pay taxes to ride them. That's what we'll do. So we'll figure out a way to take everybody's complaining and misery and we'll tax it, and we'll just piss them off more because we don't give a damn about the citizens who pay the most taxes and go to work every day. We're going to make things easier for the drunk moped riders who probably don't have much of a job in the first place, so they can get back and forth from the liquor store and the crack house better. And we can make money off of it. Woo, that's what we'll do. So that's what they've done. And now my poor wife has to drive back and forth to work in a clusterfuck of shit every single day. And then if she worked uptown, which would be probably another 8 miles further than where she goes now, you've got more construction, more mopeds, and then you factor in the fact that these dumbass yuppies, or whatever the hell you want to call them nowadays, millennials, I think that's what they're called, are out there riding scooters in their shirts and ties in the middle of Tryon Street, which is also 29. So they've made things more dangerous, but nobody gives a shit because they're making money. We can't do anything that needs to be done because what needs to be done don't generate enough revenue. So we're going to cause a clusterfuck all over the place so the state of North Carolina can generate revenue so we can waste the money doing shit that don't need to be done so that you can pay more taxes so that we still can't fix the potholes. We still can't repair the infrastructure of the highways. We're just going to cause you pain and suffering because you work hard and you pay taxes every single day and you deserve this. That's what we're going to give you. This is your punishment for being a hard-working American charlatan, is we're going to make you suffer by giving you scooters and mopeds and light rails and everything that none of you use. We're going to have more of it. That's the way to do it, North Carolina. That's the way to do it, Charlotte. That's what the people want. Tell us more about the Panthers score and the home team and the need for a soccer stadium and how you want to spend $1 billion to refurbish the Panthers stadium and spend another $50 million so you can bring Major League Soccer to Charlotte so that we can drive to work on a shitty road and almost run over pedestrians and mopeds and scooters in the process. That's what we want. That's exactly what we want, North Carolina. That's exactly what we need here in Charlotte. Vi Lyles, Mayor of Charlotte. That's what we want. That's what we elected you to do, is to make our life the biggest shithole that it could possibly be. That's why we elected you. That's why the majority of Charlotteans who voted for you probably don't even have a fucking job. The people who have jobs voted for somebody else, but unfortunately there's more of the people who voted for you than there are the people who didn't. And you won an election, you and that Braxton Winston shithole, because there's more of you than there are of us. And this is our punishment for being hard-working, decent citizens who do everything right. We obey the laws. We pay the taxes on our vehicles. We do everything that we're supposed to do. We pay $2.65 a gallon for gas while we ride over the roads and slam our new cars into potholes and throw them out of alignment and have to take them back and forth to the shop and have them repaired, just so you could get mopeds, scooters, and affordable housing. This is King Daddy for the Opinionation Podcast, hoping that your day is going better than the commuters in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you.